The Oval Office, February 28, 2025, a meeting of supposed allies. President Trump sat behind the resolute desk. Vice President Vance occupied his usual chair. Ukrainian President Zelensky entered with a forced smile. The atmosphere was initially cordial, but the facade crumbled quickly. The air crackled with unspoken tension. Trump launched into a tirade. He accused Zelensky of being ungrateful. He implied Zelensky was weak. Vance chimed in, echoing the president's accusations. Zelensky sat stiffly, his face a mask of controlled anger. The temperature in the room seemed to rise. The meeting was on the brink of collapse. This meeting was supposed to be about securing continued support for Ukraine. It was meant to be a discussion of shared goals and mutual respect. Instead, it became an arena for Trump's volatile nature. The weight of the situation pressed down on everyone present. The future of Ukraine, and perhaps the world, hung in the balance. The initial cordiality evaporated like a mirage. It was replaced by something raw and dangerous. This was not diplomacy, this was a power play, and Zelensky, caught in the middle, was determined not to back down. He had come to fight for his country, not to be bullied on foreign soil. The stage was set for a confrontation. Trump's voice boomed, echoing through the room. He reminded Zelensky of the billions in aid the US had poured into Ukraine. He claimed Zelensky was jeopardizing a peace deal with Russia. The accusations flew like daggers. Trump demanded Zelensky accept his terms, to fall in line with his vision of peace. It was an ultimatum, thinly veiled. Zelensky listened, his jaw clenched. The audacity of Trump's demands was staggering. He was being pressured to compromise his nation's sovereignty for a peace that felt more like appeasement. Trump's words were laced with threats. He implied that US support was conditional, dependent on Zelensky's immediate compliance. The room felt suffocating. Vance, ever the loyal lieutenant, piled on. He accused Zelensky of disrespect. He chastised him for daring to criticize the Trump administration. Zelensky was painted as an ungrateful guest, biting the hand that fed him. The pressure mounted. The meeting was becoming a public humiliation. Trump's voice rose further. He jabbed a finger in the air, his face flushed. Zelensky was playing a dangerous game, he warned. He was risking the lives of millions. He was on the verge of starting World War III. The absurdity of the accusation hung in the air. This was not a negotiation. This was a verbal assault. Zelensky, though visibly shaken, found his voice. He would not be cowed. He pushed back against the accusations. He spoke of Ukraine's resilience, their unwavering spirit in the face of Russian aggression. He reminded Trump of the sacrifices his people had endured. The stakes were real, he argued, the threat to his nation existential. He addressed Trump's accusations of ungratefulness. Zelensky pointed out that Ukraine was not asking for charity. They were fighting for their survival, for the principles of democracy and freedom that America claimed to champion. His words were measured but filled with barely suppressed rage. This was not a game to him. He refused to be bullied into a deal that would leave Ukraine vulnerable. He would not sacrifice his nation's future for the sake of Trump's ego. The meeting had devolved into a shouting match. The tension was almost unbearable. Zelensky's plea for understanding fell on deaf ears. Trump was unmoved. He continued to berate Zelensky, his words becoming more personal, more cutting. Zelensky realized the futility of the situation. He had come seeking support, but found only hostility and contempt. He had had enough. The meeting ended abruptly. Zelensky, his face a mask of barely contained fury, rose from his chair. He would not subject himself to further humiliation. He departed, leaving behind a stunned silence. The planned lunch was cancelled. The joint press conference was scrapped. The diplomatic fallout was immediate and severe. News of the disastrous meeting spread like wildfire. European allies expressed their concern. The international community watched in disbelief. Trump, in his characteristic fashion, took to Truth Social. He painted Zelensky as weak and ungrateful, a leader unfit to guide his nation. The image of Trump berating his Ukrainian counterpart sent shockwaves across the globe. It was a clear demonstration of Trump's volatile nature, his disregard for diplomatic norms. The incident cast a long shadow over US-Ukraine relations. The damage was done. The trust was broken. The meeting, meant to be a show of solidarity, had become a symbol of division. Trump's vision of peace had come at a steep price. The further isolation of America on the world stage, and the weakening of a vital alliance. The world wondered, what would be the ultimate cost of Trump's reckless pursuit of his own legacy? Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more interesting content.